Welcome, you guys. I'm glad you decided to come and spend a couple days with me. How many people are going to spend Sunday with me? All right. Okay. No, Dan? You weren't invited? All right. Well, this is Cash Now Secrets, and it's my latest brainstorm on an attempt to change the way people are producing results with their real estate investings, with their financial situation, especially now in this economy. Would you say that we are in what you might call a challenging economy? Yeah, quietly, yeah. And do you watch the mainstream news? No. Good. I don't either. Okay, so I don't know what they're feeding you, but I know that everybody thinks everything's going to hell in a handbasket. And maybe it is. But that is a large economy. What we have is small local economies, okay? You have your community. You have where you live. And you have your own personal situation. And I have discovered many, many, many years ago that you have complete control over what happens in your small community, in your small personal world, okay? And it's a lot of it's how you think, and how you think determines how you act and what you do. So if you go home and you watch 3 hours of the news, you may not be real excited when you wake up in the morning. You might be exhausted. But if you see the possibilities, if you see the opportunities out there for you to achieve what you want for your financial goals, and that's what we're talking about. We're talking about money, okay? I think it's real important to work on your spirituality and your health and all that. But I spend all my times working on money as an instructor, for you guys. And of course, that's what I've done for a long time. I started as a marketing consultant. Actually, yeah, I started as a marketing consultant and started working with businesses, learned marketing and all that. And then I got into real estate. And I think everybody needs to kind of have their own business, their own sideline, something that they can control. And being a real estate entrepreneur is one of the best businesses on the planet. And I've studied a lot of businesses, a lot of business opportunities, and I haven't found anything that can compare. So what we're going to talk about over the next 2 days is, Lori, hand me do you have a manual for me? Okay. You guys got a partial manual here for today. But I want to tell you what you can expect. And what I expect is I see looks like a page missing. Where's my outline? Okay. No page missing. All right. With this program, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about how to find $100,000 real estate deals right where you live. Okay. Now, who thinks that's like a big ticket? I mean, that's like a tall order, right? Okay. How do you do that? I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. How to find the deals and how to make $100,000 per deal. Okay. Would you be happy with 70,000? Yeah, I take it. Yeah, 50,000. Okay. I'm going to suggest you don't make less than $50,000 per deal. If you're going to do a deal, there's no reason using these strategies why you can't make over $50,000 per deal. In fact, the average profit right now, I think, is about $75,000. That's the average. I've been teaching some of these strategies for many years. In the beginning, we had more like $30,000, $40,000 profits. But as time goes on, I'll tell you how we tweaked it and how we changed it and how we got people to take different actions that changed that. So, and one of the ways we're going to do that, make that type of money, is getting long-term interest-free financing. Would you go out and buy houses if you had to borrow 90% at 8% interest? 90% of the value of the house at and pay 8% on an investor bank loan. No, that's not a deal. It's going to have to be a very special property for that to cash flow. One of the biggest problems with real estate is negative cash flow. Okay, how many people know what I'm talking about? Okay, they're called alligators, right? Okay. But what if you could borrow 90 cents on the dollar at 0%? Okay, and you can decide what your payment's going to be. Okay, I don't want any payments. Okay, I want to give half the net cash flow from the property to pay down the loan. Or I want to give all the net cash flow to pay down the loan very rapidly. When you're making principal-only payments on a mortgage, you get rapid, accelerated equity buildup. Okay, it's what I call forced appreciation. Are we in a marketplace right now? Now, housing markets are a local game. So in some housing markets, they're hot. Some are very depressed. Okay, but do you think in this housing market, do you think we're going to see a lot of appreciation for the next year or two? It's possible. But does it look like it? Would you expect it more to be flat? Yeah. How long do you think it might be flat?
3 to 5 years.
Yeah, I wish I had a crystal ball, right? We're actually going to talk about how to create your future, how to program your future, how to kind of know what's going to happen in the future by creating it. We're going to talk about that. But there's nothing on the horizon that's going to turn around the problems with the housing industry, which is basically the banks. And the banks are in trouble. And I think at some point, I don't know what's going to happen, but I would imagine a whole new economy in the next couple of years somehow, some way, which if we do what we're talking about now with Cash Now Secrets, we're going to be in a great position if we see anything getting worse or if it gets better. So the great thing about this is it works all the time in any economy, in any housing market. Okay, there's other strategies, investment strategies that we'll talk about, which are not as reliable as they used to be. Right, Naveen? We had different strategies in the past, and as things change, we have to change our strategies. And I'm kind of known for being on that leading edge because we're a coaching organization, and we work with investors on achieving their financial goals. And we know where they're struggling. We know what challenges they have. And so just about anything that's ever come up, we've found a solution, we had a solution, or we created a solution, or we made something up that sounded plausible. All right. All right, next we're going to talk about collecting cash profits of $10,000 to $30,000 every month. So why would you sell a house? Why would you sell a house that you own, unless it's an alligator and you want to get rid of it? Why would you buy a deal and then turn around and sell it? Cash. Cash. That's why real estate investors sell houses. They want cash because it's much better to hold. The biggest profits I've ever made on my properties are the ones that are held for a long period of time. Okay? So now, if we buy and hold for a long period of time, we can weather any economic storms. Okay? We can get all the advantages of long-term buy and hold, which you only want to do that on a house that's going to hold its own. That's not going to, suck up your time managing the property or feeding the property. I see a lot of investors, and I'm guilty of this. I've fed properties. Okay, so I bought a house, and I said, and I used to do this, Naveen. I used to go and buy a house, and I said, I got a $50,000, $40,000 back end. I'll go ahead and come out of pocket $3,000 or $4,000 to buy it, and I'll go ahead and spend $100 or $200 a month until I get my back end. And that worked for a while. People were cashing me out in 12 to 24 months on selling on a rent-to-own and give them a year or two to close, and then they'd close and they'd cash me out. So when that was happening, you could buy in a different way. But today, you never want to rely on banks. You never want to rely on actually, don't rely on anybody doing anything. And set it up so you win or you win, okay? And you do whatever you can to help your seller or your buyer, your private investor. Those are your clients, okay? But, you know, the people that fail are my buyers, okay? I give them an opportunity, and they can't buy a house, they have bad credit, they're unstable or something, and I give them an opportunity to change that, work on that, you know, a fresh start, so to speak. And people, they'll say they'll do a lot of things, but wherever they go, there they are. So you can tell, you know, if you want to be careful about putting, who do you put in your property? If you want to look at someone's history, that's a pretty good indication of what you're going to see in the future, okay? So but you can still give them a second chance if you protect yourself. Now, we sell houses for cash. Well, how many people have bought and flipped a house for $10,000 or more cash? You know, you flipped a deal. Yeah, a lot of you, right? That's kind of a normal thing for investors. We look for those great deals that we can buy good, maybe flip it, offer a good deal to someone else, make a quick 10, 20, 30. How many have you made more than 30 on a flip? 40? More than how much? What's your best?
Well, fix and flip.
100,000. How long did it take?
Took 3 months.
3 months. Well, that's a pretty good paycheck. Why don't you do that every month? What's the challenge there? Finding deals.
Right, and also the economy changed.
And the economy changed because the fix and flip model is all about relying on banks. See, I got started in this business buying houses, you know, subject to, renting them to a buyer until they closed, and, you know, make kind of a break even along the way, so to speak, but then make 20, 30, 40 grand on the back end. And I had people cashing me out every month. You know, you fill up your pipeline, okay? But that was when anybody who could, you know, fog a mirror could get a loan. And you saw what happened with that. In 2007, I did a program called the Mortgage Market Meltdown, something like that. It was in November of 2007. And that's when, that's right after everything really started changing. The subprime market was kind of melted down. And then, of course, we saw 2008 with the economy kind of collapsing. It should have collapsed completely, but they keep pulling things out of their hat to push it along. So why flip a deal for 10 or 20,000 when you can buy a deal and get 10 or 20,000 plus cash flow plus a big back end? Okay, so I'll still, well, actually I won't. When I buy a good deal, I keep it. You know, I don't need to flip it for cash because I can get the cash and keep it. So if I flip a deal, I'm usually leaving a lot of money on the table. All right, and I'm talking about maybe flipping it to another investor. I would consider it, but I tend to keep all my deals. Now, I talked about spending like $3,000 or $5,000 to get into a property, no money down, right? Because you got your buy cost, your hold costs, and all that. A free house that someone could just deed you, just say, take over my payments. The house is